Be well informed. Welcome to the first Infosode. Shall we begin? And welcome to the first Infosode on Be Well Informed. We're going to jump right into this. So, agents of info, let's get started. Let's head over to the control board and figure things out. Now, here's the control board. It's very simple at the moment, but trust me, in the future, it's just going to get better, more exciting, more fun, more craziness. But for now, we only got 2 stories, folks. That's about it. Just 2 stories. And in these 2 stories, we're going to keep it simple. There's not going to be much digging here, not much research. So for the division of informed info, this would probably be one of our easiest days ever on Infosode 1. So let's go. Our first story, EU imposes new sanctions on Iran for crimes. This story is via The Hindu. So with this one, there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on in Iran, a lot of protests, a lot of anger because of what's been going on recently, what happened recently. We're going to head over to The Hindu and see what's been going on. So far Iran has executed 4 people, with 18 people have gotten the death penalty imposed on them. So what happened was we had a lady over there, we haven't, but a lady was arrested or apprehended, and she died in custody. She was arrested because of what she was wearing, how she was dressed, which they have very strict rules over there in Iran. So she was outside, and she was not wearing, I guess, what they would allow. And because of that, she died in custody. A lot of outrage ensued. And because of that outrage, the Iranians have executed 4 people associated with that outrage and unrest. And with a total of 18 people getting the death penalty imposed on them, or pretty much being condemned to death. I believe that's the right term to use there as well. So the EU has been trying to put sanctions on them and things of that nature. We're not going to read step by step. I've already read this, but you get a gist of what it says. This story is not new. This story came out on the 23rd. But on that day, they placed 37 additional Iranian officials and entities on asset freezes and halted their visas, pretty much put them on a blacklist so they cannot travel. The bloc, which is the EU bloc, when they say the bloc, they're referring to the EU. And when if I'm not reading it, I'm just allowing you I'm allowing you all time to read these areas. I've already read it, so I'm just giving you time to read it yourselves. Because we're here to work together here. Sometimes I read inside, sometimes I read out loud, but it is there. So they've already imposed 60 Iranians, or put 60 sanctions on 60 Iranian officials. So that puts them to a total of 97. So 60 plus 37 would be 97. So they have not listed them as a terrorist group so far, and that's because you have Joseph Burrell down here. He's saying we can't do that because we have not gone through the legal procedure to condemn them in that way, we have to go through the courts to be able to condemn them. And once the courts condemn them, then we could take the correct action after condemning them in that way. But until we do that, we have to do it the legal way. So that's why they have not condemned them as a terror group. As you can see here, you cannot say I consider a terrorist because I don't like you. It has to be done with the court member state issue a legislative statement, and that's why. But here's what happened. Demonstrations have swept Iran since the 16th. Death in custody of Iranian Kurdish woman, Mahsa Amini, 22. She was arrested in Tehran for failing to adhere to Islamic Republic strict dress rules. That was it. And because of that, a lot of protests proceeded. They have arrested 14,000 total. And this is why the UN is trying to put sanctions on them. And that's pretty much the gist of this story here. And that's what it was. And that's what's causing the outrage over there and a lot of craziness. So with that, I have here for the brief gathered information for the story. And that is, there have been protests happening in Iran due to the death of a detained woman. The Iranian government has so far executed 4 captured from the outrage, with a total of 18 condemned to be executed. Now, if this isn't the right word to use here, condemned, then I will update it here, and you will see an update for it. All updates here will be the original info, the updated info, and why it was updated will be here. I have no theories for this particular moment, for this story. I don't think nothing's needed. It's pretty straightforward. But these will be theories anybody else has. My theories will be here. And I have no related stories or recommended stories related to this story. Here's the key for those thunderbolts. Now let's get to Ocasio Cortez gets vice ranking member position via All the News. As you can see, multiple sources we go to. And it's pretty much showing she's now the second highest ranking Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, alongside Representative Jamie Raskin. Now, this is a new position. It just got created in 2017 by the Democrats. They created it, as you can see here, to elevate junior members in Congress, which is working apparently. And her claim here is, or all claim here is, the House Oversight Committees, they're the oversight House committees. In this case, the investigations that they're doing. As we all know, the GOP will be having a few investigations this year. And as AOC says, well, what did she say? Somewhere in here. Those hearings are horrible things. So, yeah, she's there to make sure that everything's in line, as the name states in the House Oversight Committee. But what I have for this one is pretty simple. Ocasio Cortez is now the vice member to Jamie Raskin on the House Oversight Committee, and she plans to make sure that the GOP House investigations do not go off track into the realm of anything illegal. Well, as you can see, that's about it for this Infosode. Not much craziness. Back to the ship. Back to the ship. That's it. So on the future ones, we will have deeper dives if the story so calls for it. If not, brief overviews. But we're going to get this process down better and get the format to perfection. With that, be well informed. Out.